What's up YouTube? I'm Lauren Holly, also Graphic Nation with a K, all over the interwebs. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And what I wanted to talk about is lenses. Now I've been shooting with Micro Four Thirds cameras since about 2012, and that's given me some time to acquire quite the collection of lenses. Now, some of the lenses that I have that are my go-tos that I use on a daily basis, you know, they've made some upgrades and some newer lenses, and there are certainly some fancier things that you can get these days. And that really had me thinking, if I could wipe the slate clean and sort of restock my gear bag today with all of the options that are currently available, would my selection of top 5 lenses look any different? Let's find out. The Lumix 12-35 f2.8. I've had this lens for quite some time, and you can see the copy that I have has got a good amount of wear on it. So this lens has definitely seen a lot of action out in the field, and it has served me well over the years. Basically, the big thing to know about this lens, if you're trying to look for that everyday sort of reliable zoom lens that's going to give you really good quality, good sharpness, and a little bit of reach, you're going to want to go with something that has that constant 2.8 aperture so that you're not always losing light. So for me, it's an absolute must to have something that replaces your average kit lens with just a little bit better light gathering capabilities. Now, having said that, as amazing as this lens is, this is the very original version, and it has been improved upon. So if I were to buy it again today, I'd certainly want the updated copy. But I'd say even further than that, after I spent some time with the Lumix S1, I really fell in love with that kit lens, which has a 24-105 focal length. And that really had me taking a much harder look at the newer Leica 12-60 f2.8 to 4.0. I think that lens is amazing, and while it's a little bit bigger than the 12-35, that is such an incredible range from that 12-60, which gives you something that's a effective 24 to 120 millimeters focal length. I mean, that's just amazing. That's a beautifully designed lens. It is super sharp. As much as I have gotten so much out of this lens over the years, and it has certainly served me well, if I were going to spend my money today, I'd give a slight edge to that newer lens with a longer zoom range over the constant aperture of my beloved 12-35. But in either case, you really can't go wrong. They're both fantastic lenses. Alright, this is one of my favorite lenses, the Olympus 45mm f1.8. This is a perfect portrait lens. It's so light and it's so small, and you can toss it in your bag and take it anywhere. Now, you might be wondering, is that the best 45mm lens out there? Well, maybe not, but I can tell you from my own experience, because I also happen to have the Leica 42.5 f1.2. Now, I have both of these lenses and I've had them for years. This was the very first 45mm and one of the very first prime lenses that I actually bought for my Micro Four Thirds cameras, and I just loved it. But I was totally romanced by the 1.2 aperture on this Leica, and I just had to have it. So of course I ended up selling the Olympus to put that money towards the Leica. And I had the Leica for, 6 months or something, and I found myself in that 6 months, while I was really satisfied with the 1.2 aperture when I needed it, I kind of found that I didn't really need it that often, and I found myself constantly missing this tiny little Olympus lens. The number one reason that I switched to micro four thirds in the first place was to lighten my load. So I never wanted to carry this Leica around. First of all, it's super big and it's super heavy, and it's so expensive that it made me nervous carrying it out on the street. So I constantly was missing this little Olympus lens. I had to just bite the bullet and buy it again. Now, the third lens that I want to talk about is a wide angle lens. Now, I personally have the 7-14 Lumix wide angle lens. It has an aperture of f4, and I've had this lens for a long time, right? It's a great lens. I bought it because the Olympus version with a 2.8 constant aperture was just a little too big for me. And when comparing aperture to size and weight, the Lumix just won me over with its smaller size. Now, these days, they're making the 8-18, which is a really popular lens. A lot of people talking about how amazing that lens is, which naturally had me thinking, should I be upgrading to the 8-18? And I've looked pretty hard at it myself, but I don't think it's for me. It's a little too big, and if I honestly were going to trade in the 7-14, which has served me so well over the years, I would actually opt for the much smaller, much lighter Laowa 7.5 f2.0. And the reason I love the Laowa is it's so small and it's so light and so compact. Now, it's also a manual focus lens, so you have to keep that in mind, which I personally don't mind at all. The 2.0 aperture, outstanding. It's a fixed focal length of 7.5, which gives you 15 millimeters on full frame equivalent. I've had the opportunity to shoot with it before, and it takes incredible pictures, and I've been wanting the Laowa for a while and feeling just a little sentimental about the Lumix 7-14, but these days I think I'd go with the Laowa. All right, moving on to another lens that I keep in my bag almost at all times, and that is the Leica 15mm f1.7. I absolutely love this little lens. It's a little bit pricey, but one of the things that I enjoy so much about it is that it has this manual aperture ring that feels very old school. It's like an old film lens. And then it also, of course, has the little autofocus, manual focus little button right here on the lens. I just find that this lens is very tactile, it's very grippy. It's super tack sharp. Of course, it's a Leica, so it creates beautiful images. There's a few other prime lenses that are in this focal length that will cost you a little bit less money, but I totally think that this Leica is worth the upgrade in price. Absolutely love this lens, and I take it with me almost everywhere that I go. Now, the last lens that is probably my favorite of the whole lot. This lens is probably one that I'll never part with, and that is this Olympus 75mm 1.8. It's a sort of a short telephoto focal length, and I've had this lens for kind of a long time, and I don't think there's anything on the market currently that would persuade me to trade this lens in. I absolutely love it. It has the most beautiful shallow depth of field, and the bokeh is gorgeous. It's super crisp and sharp. And I also love to bring this lens with me when I'm traveling, because combined with the 45 and the 15, I pretty much have a knockout combination of prime lenses that are just so light and so portable. But with that long reach, the 75 millimeters giving you 150 at 1.8, you know, this is really just a great short telephoto prime option. And I have taken so many amazing pictures with this lens. It is just a low light killer, and I can't imagine not keeping this lens forever and ever. I just love it so much. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for me today. Those are my top 5 favorite lenses for Micro Four Thirds. Drop a comment if you want to let me know your favorites, if you agree, disagree, if I missed something. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to drop some links below to my Amazon affiliate page if you want to pick something up. Your support there is greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.